welcome to our video today, and this is about basic product. So I want to go over with you guys a couple things. I'm going to go over with you what a core kit looks like and what you can expect from that. And then I'm going to go over some designer paper or using scrapbook paper in your project life layouts. Okay, so we have looked at your basic, layout of your pages and setting up foundation pages. And if any of that is something that you want to adapt and start doing, that's great. One of the things that I'm really going to suggest, and I know it can be hard as crafters and scrapbookers and, as we love doing this, we can collect so much product. And I definitely have a ton of product that is around my office. And part of it is this is my job. So I have maybe more than I need because of that. But one thing that I have found is I really stick to 2 different products for my Project Life album, okay? And there's a third that I sort of mix in, and I've started mixing in these last couple years. But my 2 main products that I always go to, my go-to products, are going to be Becky Higgins core kits and designer paper, so scrapbooking paper, whatever. I call it designer paper because that's what we call it with Stampin' Up! Is designer paper. So that's what I'm referring to, but really that's any scrapbook paper that you have on hand, okay? So a couple things to consider before we dive in and we start looking at this. And I think I will grab, these are older core kits. So I think I'm just gonna pull this one out and we're gonna look at it and talk about it. Okay. So a couple things that you're going to want to consider is your personal style. So my personal style is I'm very matchy-matchy. I want things to match. I don't want to have to put a lot of thought process into like figuring out how to make it match. I just want to be able to pull product and drop it in and be done. So for me, the reason why I stick mainly with Becky Higgins product is because I know the quality is always going to be great. I know the sizes are all going to match. I know that the pricing is always going to be pretty much the same. I'm always going to have access to it. I can always find it. So while there's lots of different brands around, we have Simple Stories. The Echo Park makes some Project Life cards that you can cut, and I used them in my December daily. We Are Memory Keepers has some Project Lifestyle or pocket style cards. There's lots of different companies that offer them. And so what I don't want to do is I don't want to end up getting so much product that I don't know how to make it work, or I don't know how to make things coordinate, or that the pages are different, or the pockets are different, or the sizes are different. So that's one of the reasons that I stick with the Becky Higgins product. And then I have Stampin' Up! Product. So I have Stampin' Up! Cards that I use. We have a Memories and More line that is pocketed scrapbooking. We had Project Life cards. We were partnered together with Becky Higgins for 3 years. So we had product there. And then I also use their designer paper. So when I'm saying that that's my core product, it's because for one thing, being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I already have all the inks. I already have all the cardstocks. So all of my colors, I already have ribbon that matches. I already have embellishments that are going to match those things. So for me, I have a lot of different things that I can pull from, but I'm just mainly sticking to 2 companies, really. In the last few years, I have started collecting Ali Edwards product, and I'm going to talk about that in a separate video and why I do that. I get her subscription kit every single month, and it's not something that I suggest you just do randomly. There's very specific reasons I do it. I love Ali Edwards. I love her class content. I'm super happy to support what she does. But what I don't want to happen is for you guys to get really overwhelmed with the amount of product that you're bringing in. So I never want to suggest you just go buy this or just go buy that. We right now are currently on our Facebook group. We've put together a core kit split up. So there's some of us that have joined together and we're splitting up some core kits that we like. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I like having fresh product now and again too, but honestly, I have not bought a new core kit in several years. The last core kit I bought was probably 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago. I don't buy it just to buy it. If there's something that comes out that I'm really loving and I want a little bit of fresh, I will do it. So a core kit, when you're purchasing a core kit from Becky Higgins, what you're getting is these 4x6 cards and then these 3x4 cards. And this is definitely one kit. I've used this kit quite a bit. So it's not, and I only got one of this. This is the blush edition, and I don't think that it's available any longer. But you can see that there's quite a few cards here. There are over 600 cards in a core kit. That's a lot of cards. Each core kit has somewhat of a theme. This is the blush edition, and it was pinks and blues, and it was like currently and hello today. And then the older core kits have several of the same design. So you will see like right here, this is a lot of one design. Since this core kit was released, they have updated the way they do their core kits, and you get like 4 each of each design. So you used to get like 50 designs. So you used to get like 10 designs each and then 50 of those designs. Now you get like 4 of those designs, but you get like 50 different designs because you're only getting like 4 of each, if that makes sense. Hopefully that's clear. So depending on what kind of core kit you're getting, you know, there are some older ones that are still on Becky's site or are being sold by other companies. It's just something to kind of remember. Whenever you're getting a core kit, you're getting a lot of cards. You really, I mean, there's really no need to get maybe more than one card kit unless you're just crazy like me and you find a core kit and you get terrified that they're going to retire it and you'll never be able to find it again. That's me with the Midnight core kit. I think I have 3 or 4 of them that I just love, and I want to make sure I have enough cards always forever. But these are the cards that you're going to use. And for me, what I do is when I get my cards, I tend to put all of the like cards together. So right here you can see like all of my green cards are together. All of my filler cards that are blue are together. This is just the way that I like doing it. You don't have to do this, okay? Like, don't be overwhelmed. You guys, please, I beg you not to feel overwhelmed by this. So you get these cards, and you're basically going to be dropping these into your pockets. Now, there's cards that have nothing on them, which is really great. If you don't have anything to say, if you don't have a photo to go in a pocket, you can just stick a card. On the back side, you can see there's some journaling, but you could pair 2 of these up together and not say anything. So it really takes the stress out of scrapbooking. You're just dropping in photos and then you're dropping in cards and it looks pretty and you don't have to do anything else, okay? But if you want to journal, then they have the journaling side. So you're going to have in your core kit, you're going to have cards that have a design on them, and then you're going to have cards where you can write on them, okay? And then you'll have 3x4, which are meant obviously to go in the 3x4 pockets. And then you have 4x6, which will go in your 4x6 pockets, okay? So there's some title cards where you just drop it in and maybe you write a title. The older core kits have these cards where you fold them in half. They're scored. Core kits don't have these anymore. They're not made with these kinds of cards. These were made so if you wanted to journal more, you could. You could write a lot and then you could pop it in the pocket. Again, newer core kits are not going to have that. I tend to use these cards just like regular title cards. Like I just slip them in a 4x6 pocket and use them as either a title card or a journaling card or something to layer over, you know, for a photo to layer onto it. So that's the other thing is that's the basic way you're going to use a core kit. But you can layer these together if you want. You can cut them up. You can fold them up. You can, you know, layer them together. You can do whatever you want. You're just getting some basic product. You can make it as complicated or as easy as you want. So let me show you this box. I am going to insert a small clip of how I store all of my core kits, where I store them. I'm going to do an entire organization video for you guys where I go over in detail how I organize all of my product. This is just going to be a short clip so you can see where I keep all of my core kits.
Hey everybody, I wanted to give you a overview of where I store my product. So this is real life. I was going to clean my office before I shot this video, and then I just thought, you know what? We're all friends here. We can all share when things are crazy, and this is my work, and I'm in the middle of doing this class and filming videos. So this is real life. So just to give you an orientation, I am going to be going over this in an organizational video for you guys. But just to give you an idea while we're talking about product, here is where I do my project life. This is where I work on stuff right here. Down below, I have some designer paper that I reach for all of the time. It's very basic paper. It's like stripes and polka dots and things that I can just reach for that will pair well with stuff that I'm doing. And then on this side, I have core kits. So when I'm talking about core kits, I mean core kits from Becky Higgins, or there are some card kits in here from Stampin' Up, Our Memories and More line, or when Stampin' Up was partnered together with Becky Higgins and they had Project Life actual cards. So the other thing I wanted to share in this really quick video is right here is my December daily stuff because I'm still working on my album. So I just have a little box here of stuff and it's sitting here, it's out, and I can work on it. I'll put it all away when I'm done. So sometimes that helps. So depending on how much space you have, will depend on your storage solutions. And again, I'm not going to go into great detail because I have a whole other video planned for you guys for that. But for me, I got this bookshelf at IKEA. It's a Billy bookcase. It's fairly deep and it's very tall. Okay, and it fits right here in this space. And then these boxes right here. Here's one that just has stuff in it, but I'm going to pull one of these boxes down. We're going to look at them. These boxes fit perfectly into this bookshelf. And you can see I have multiple kits in each box. Here's one where I have 4 kits. Here's one where I have 6 different kits. And then you can see I was labeling them with these nice labels. And then I was like, I don't really care. I'm just writing on the box. So each one of these boxes holds several different core kits. And then all of my product for like my core kits, my Becky Higgins, my Stampin' Up cards, they're all right here in one spot, and that's how I access them. These boxes go all the way down. So this one's not labeled. It's miscellanea Project Life cards like overlays and solid cards and grid cards and kind of just miscellanea items. But all of these have core kits in them and they go all the way up, and I have a little bit of room to expand as I get more product. But that is where my product is stored.
Okay, so now that you've seen where I store them, I've been collecting core kits for many years. So as long as I've been doing Project Life, I've been collecting core kits. That's 7 years now that I've been doing it. 6 years. So I have a lot of them. And again, I just replaced my obsession for scrapbooking paper with Project Life cards. You don't have to have this many at all. And I really suggest splitting with a friend if at all possible, because there's no possible way that I could ever use up the amount of cards that I have. These boxes I found at IKEA, and they have dividers in them. And the cards fit perfectly. They're the exact height of your Project Life cards, and then you can put the top on it. Okay, so that's how I have mine organized. I just have written on the box what they are. I do 3 core kits about per box because there's 3 different slots. I do all the 4x6 cards in the middle, and then the 3x4 cards right on the side. And then like for this one, these 2 kits back here, I have more than 1 kit. This is the Clementine kit, which is my favorite kit of all time. It retired. You cannot find it anymore. It cannot be purchased. And so I bought 2 of those when it was retiring. I bought an additional one. This was the very first core kit I ever purchased. I purchased it off Amazon before Becky Higgins had her own website, and I had to wait forever for it to be in stock. So it's kind of fun to remember that that was the first kit I got. And then back here's the jade kit, and there's several. So if I have more than one kit, some of the 3x4 cards have to kind of flow over into the middle, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. And then that's how I break them up. So the other kits that I have, here is another box, and I have some Stampin' Up! Product in this one. And this one has 4 kits in it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm not sure. This is the box I'm pretty sure my husband dropped, and all of my product got mixed up. And you can see that these corners are not rounded. This is Stampin' Up! Product. Stampin' Up! Doesn't round the corners of their product. Currently, Becky Higgins has changed her core kits, and they are all square corners instead of rounded corners. But you can see here that I just have broken up the same way. This is kits that we offered last year. They retired, so I have several of them. These kits that you get from Stampin' Up! And some that you may get from other companies are not going to come with as many cards as a core kit. So a core kit is meant to have all of those cards because they were designed so that you could use one core kit all year long. So it's not something that where you're breaking it up to where other companies are designing cards that maybe you're not using those cards all year long. This is the kits from Stampin' Up! Last year. You can see I've rounded some of these. Sometimes I'll sit and do that. I prefer rounded corners. So a lot of my products, sometimes I'll sit and I'll round corners of it so they're ready to go. Whenever a card makes it into my album at this point in my life, I'm rounding the corners. So you can see there's journaling cards. There are filler cards. And you can see that's kind of how I break up my kits. I put all my filler cards I'm going to use on one side, all my journaling cards on another. Some kits have 4x4 cards. Stampin' Up! Used to do 4x4 cards. They don't any longer. I like 4x4 cards because I like being able to layer. I like being able to get a little bit of creative with the product that I'm using. So the way I use my product, the way I'm using these kits is I either use one core kit or one set of designer paper per month. So every month I'm changing it up and I'm feeling like I'm still being creative and I'm not getting bored with my product. But within 1 month, I am using everything the same so that if I am running behind, if things are really busy, if I'm not able to tune into my albums like I like, I still can just drop things in and have things set up in a way that works for me. So that's the core kit. So now let's take a look at some designer. Okay, so I'm not purchasing designer paper or scrapbook paper in the quantities that I was once purchasing it. I'm very much more selective about the paper that I purchase. So this week you guys are seeing me use a lot of this paper on my website. I've done several different projects with it. I think every single day this week on my website I'm using this paper. This is from Stampin' Up! So the most paper that I purchase during the year or during the month or whatever is from Stampin' Up! I purchase a lot of their designer papers because I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm doing other things with this paper, but I find if I am loving a designer paper, I will purchase several packs of it because I know I'm going to use it in my Project Life album. This is one of those packs. The Petal Passion designer paper is gorgeous. I love it. I'm so in love with this paper. It's so versatile. I've gotten several packs of it. I'm using it for all of February in my Project Life album. I'm pairing it with the Memories and More cards from Stampin' Up! So I'm getting a lot of use out of this. And then also because it's black and white, that's one of my favorite types of paper to get. I'll be able to cut this up and use this with within other months if I need to. I don't usually need to, but I do like having the paper that I like having a lot of or having on hand is paper that is going to coordinate or go well with several different things so that I can intermix things. This paper right here is paper that I recently picked up at Joann's. I rarely do this, you guys. It was over the holidays. I was there specifically buying holiday paper, Christmas paper, and I just happened to see this and it caught my eye and I couldn't say no because, you guys, my first love is scrapbook paper. So I grabbed this and I am using this. So this is what I grabbed from the rack. And I actually wish I would have grabbed a couple more pieces of it because I'm using it for a specific project. So what happened is I grabbed this, I set it aside, and I was like, well, I'm sure I'll come up with a project to use this with. Let me get rid of this so I can talk about all this properly. So I decided I wanted to use this for my fit album. And so what I did is I went through some of my paper. You guys saw it when I did my video, and I said down here is where I keep designer paper that is polka dots or stripes or things I can pull from to pair together with stuff. That's where this paper came from. So I just went through all of those little stacks that I have, and I found stuff that coordinates with this paper, so that I could pull this paper out and use it in the mini album that I'm working on. And that worked out great. So I'll keep all of this together, and that's what I will use and pull from. So that's how I pull designer paper and use it. The other thing, so this is if you have paper in your stash and you're like, well, I just want to use some designer paper to put into my Project Life album, this is what I would suggest doing. I would suggest finding maybe one that you love. This could be for a month. I could do this in May and use this, you know, for all of May or for my overview, or I could use it for a couple months, and then pair some more solid colors or some easier patterns, or maybe you have patterns that go together, pair that together, and then that's what you use for a part of your album. Okay, and I'm going to show you how that actually looks in an album in just a second here. So the other thing that I tend to do, every now and again, I will find a pack of paper that I want to use for something specific. This year, I wanted some yellow paper for my One Little Word album. I didn't have any kind, I wanted it to be like floral and have yellows in it, and I did not have anything on hand. I was really drawn to this checkered pattern, which was some paper that we had in December. It was some Christmas paper, and I was really wanting to incorporate that. So I was looking around and I found this set of paper. This is The Simple Life. It is by, I'm not sure what brand it is, but it was designed by Jen Hadfield, the Home Plus Made collection, but I'm not sure exactly who sold, like which brand, if it's Echo Park or American's Crafts. So this is an entire set of paper, and you can see all the different designs here. So what I've done is I got 2 sets of this paper, and this is how I decided I wanted to be able to use it in an album. I got 2 sets of this paper. I pulled out all of the pieces I wanted to use in this album. So these are all the different designs that I want to be able to use in this album. I pulled out the yellows. Now, this entire pack of paper is going to coordinate. So all of these colors are going to work together. The designs are going to work together. And so this is what I know will work within this album. Okay? All of the stuff that is here is extras that, you know, don't necessarily work for the project that I'm working on. This isn't really something that is going to work with the feel of the album that I'm working with, or if you're working within a month, or if you're I'm working in a mini album. So all of this is what I know will work within that mini album, but you might be just working within a month, or maybe you're changing it up every week. So for me, it stresses me out to change my product every single week. I need to have a couple spreads that I'm working with the same product and I'm working with the same feel. That goes for a mini album. It goes for anything. I don't like changing things up every page I turn. I feel like that's too stressful for me. So once I picked the pages that I was going to use in the album, what I did is I went through my stash and I picked out everything that would coordinate or that I felt like I could use. So I have a bunch of yellows down here that I can use. And then I have a bunch of black and white designs that will work. And then I have some of these that I pulled from my stash. These are from all different collections. Some is from Stampin' Up. This is from the Clementine Project Life paper when Becky Higgins used to sell 12 by 12 paper. So now I have a good, like I have more than I could ever need, right? More than I could ever use, but everything coordinates. Like I have the same color palette. So now let me show you how that translates into your Project Life pages. So here's my one little word. Now I covered this album, so I used designer paper to do that. But let me show you as I flip this open. So I used a piece of yellow paper. I just cut it down to 4 by 6 and I put it in this slot. Now this could be a photo, this could be a journaling card. Now I don't have any other paper in here because I have cards. I have Project Life cards because this is a different kind of project that you're working with. This isn't necessarily like I'm not documenting daily. I'm doing certain things for it. However, when I turned the page, I could put another piece of designer paper here, a journaling card here, and a photo here. And that's how your layout could start to look. That's how you would use your paper. You would cut it down and then you would just use the different pieces in different places. Whenever you're using designer paper, you have to find a way to add your journaling because there's not necessarily grid lines to add journaling. I talked about using this designer paper, this scrapbook paper here. I'll show you how that turned out in the album. The way I started off the album was like this. Again, I've just covered this. This is my fitness album. Last year I was using some other product, and instead of just scrapping that whole idea and not keeping this or using this, I just started this year with a tab right here and a new cover page. So this was all of last year. It's totally done in different product and a different color scheme. But again, I'm using that designer paper from the Petal Passion, which is the black and white paper I showed you. And then I'm using this. So I covered a divider. And this is January. I just haven't written anything here. There's nothing, I'm not covering anything up or not sharing it. I just have not written anything. So I have sticky notes of what I need to write down. So here's a piece of, this was actually a card, maybe? No, this was designer paper that then I covered up. I used a stamp. I have a photo here. So here's my photo. Here's my journaling card. Here's designer paper. I turned this. Here's a piece of that designer paper. So I've just cut it down 3 by 4. Super simple. I have a journaling card, another journaling card, and then a filler card. And then I have some photos over here, and this was a creative prompt. I need to fill out some journaling. So our creative homework was to do something like this, and that's how I've put it together. Now, there's lots of things that I could do different. I accidentally punched when I was putting this on here, I put this card too close to where I needed the hole. It punched into the card. You guys, I really don't want you to overthink it. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is my fitness album. It's my health and wellness type journal. I'm taking a workshop. I'm following along. You know, the point of it is not that it's perfect. I don't need to redo this. I don't need to figure anything else out. I can just move forward. It's in here. I'm documenting, I'm getting it done, I'll add my journaling, and then I'm just going to be done and I'm going to let it go. It's the same way here. I really want you guys to see that sometimes we get too caught up in the product and the photos being perfect and our handwriting being perfect. Here I had to scribble things out. Like I wasn't going to reprint this whole thing and rewrite all of this because I messed up. I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm just going to move forward. You can see that I didn't use all of the product last year when I was doing it. I fell off the wagon and I stopped doing it. I stopped documenting. I stopped taking photos. I just stopped. I was overwhelmed. So, but you can see like everything is not perfect. Everything is not matching 100% exactly. The point of these projects is not for them to be perfect. It's not for us to get so caught up in the product that we're using that we get overwhelmed and we stop documenting. The point of these projects is so that we can document the things that are happening in our life. So you can see there, that's my friend Chris. We're doing this together. She's amazing. She has lost so much weight and has really kept me so accountable and so encouraged during this process. And that is the thing, right? Like right there, that is what I want to document. It has nothing to do with this paper. It has to do with my relationship with myself and the journey that I'm on. And then this amazing relationship that I have with this amazing person who's been such an encouragement to me. And that's what I want to shine through in. That's why I started off this year with a photo of her and I, because that is what's important to me. So I hope that that makes sense. I know we all love our product, and there are so many different ways that we can use product. You can go into your own stash and you can grab product. You can, you know, go to a Michael's or a Joann and grab a couple pieces of paper and make an entire album out of that. There are no rules, and it doesn't have to be complicated. We want to make this simple, and I hope by seeing the way that I'm using product and some of the product that I've used to create different things that you guys will see how that's done, and that maybe you will feel encouraged. So I would love to know, what product you guys have. Are you overwhelmed with product? Do you have too much of it? Several of you guys have said on our group that you are using product this year and you're not buying anything else, which I think is fantastic. I think that's amazing. If for some reason I could never buy another crafting item again, I would have enough in my office to last me the rest of my life, for real. So if you're at a place where you're like, I don't want to buy any more product, I want you to keep with that. I don't want you to buy any more product. If you're at a place where you are feeling like you want a little bit of fresh product to keep you encouraged and inspired for this year as we're starting out, I want you to do that. You know, purchase a core kit. We're doing a core kit split up. So get those kits and feel that freshness and feel inspired. If you have a room full of product, if you have a room full of scrapbooking paper, take a few minutes and go through that product and see, is there some paper that you absolutely love that you've not used? Are you scared to use it? Do you look at the paper and do you think, well, I'm not going to be able to use this perfect enough, so I don't want to use it? If you have designer paper and you love it, you need to cut it up and use it. Like, that's my challenge to you, is to look at the product you have, cut it up and use it. Get the kits out, get the core kits out, get the stash out, and start using it. And it would also be a really good time. It's the beginning of the year. So I do this every single year at the beginning of the year. I go through product and I get it out of my space if I'm not going to use it. So this is one of those items. I've been holding onto it for this class, so I could share with you guys in this class. But this is paper that I actually will be asking Chris if she wants. I don't want any of this. I've already gone through. I've got what I wanted. I will pass it on. I'll say, hey, Chris, do you want any of this? Do you like any of this? And she'll say, oh, yeah, like I like that. I have a project for that. Let me, have that part of it. Let me not have this part of it. I don't like it. So really take a moment to go through what you have and feel out what you want to use, okay? And then let us know on the Facebook group. Let me know what you're thinking and how you're feeling about your product, and if you have any questions. So let's dive into our next video, and I will see you in that video. Hey guys, you can check the next video out for the class content by just clicking on the video right there in the middle. That will take you to the next video, or you can check out the links on the page for this week's content, and you can just click through to the next video.